Hello and welcome back together to this weekly update on the financial markets. My name is still Jens, and like always I want to cover with you my four main assets: the S&P 500 index, US oil, gold and Bitcoin, and a bunch of single stocks, indices, crypto, etc. I analyze price on a weekly, daily and 4-hour time frame, and afterwards I decide to take a trade or not, define my trading setups, show you all my trades I'm already taking or in, and the ones I plan to take in the future. So let's start directly in. We're working at 30% profit in the account balance, live here while I'm recording. New milestone. Let's start with that and the weekly time frame S&P 500 index. S&P 500 index on the weekly time frame, you can see we are printing higher highs followed by higher lows, an intact uptrend. The last push to the upper side is really extended right now. Amazing how far this uptrend can go without a pause. I'm expecting now that price went so high without any correction that we will probably test that first Fibonacci extension level here, measured from the low of the high of the last major movement. Then you get that levels. These are the levels for the setbacks. These are the levels for the take profit targets if there is no price structure to orientate on. Yeah, that's the view on the day weekly. Let's switch to the daily time frame. We got since a long time MACD divergence, and in my further videos I talked about that's probably a sign that we have to correct somehow, someday. We didn't. We just didn't. We went higher and higher and higher, printing one higher high after another. And yeah, I think I let it in. So as a small warning sign that can't go on forever. But I'm not in a trade. I would have better not taken my take profit here in this trade and still riding that to the upper side. I'm not, but I'm fine with that, like you can see in my portfolio. Yeah, I wouldn't get into that and that extended level here. I would wait for a major setback before then continuation higher, because I'm expecting that we get into next year with a positive stock market. So a corrective move would be a chance to get back in. The 4-hour time frame, not really much more to say. I thought maybe this would be the final move to the downside. It wasn't. That would have been the zone where I would expect the first time support, and maybe looking here for an entry to continue higher. But the market was pushing higher without backtesting that level ever again. Next on the list, US oil. US oil starting off on a weekly time frame as well. We have here in red solid a monthly downtrend line. That one got broken cleanly to the upper side. Since then we're moving inside a corrective move marked by this orange solid downtrend line here. We had one try after the last low to get above that one, but we got directly rejected to the downside. And if we drop one time frame lower, you can see I was able to draw some daily downtrends here that got broken to the upper side. And last time I was recording, this looked like this here. And I thought, okay, maybe if we get a nice push above this level here, after seeing this one. So we had the breakout, we had the setback. And if we wouldn't have made the lower low, we have seen prices move higher again. So a movement like this maybe, that would have been the level where I would have gone long in crude oil. That wasn't the case. We made a lower low, so I had to readjust this downtrend line. So we are still in downtrend, and I'm waiting now for the next breakout to the upper side. And yeah, that would be, I think the next major move is a move to the upper side, and I'm willing to trade that to the upper side. But so far, still waiting in this asset class. Where I'm not waiting, we have probably soon to take action, is gold. Spot gold flying higher than any SpaceX rocket ever could. We had a lot of resistance last year and the year before, and then finally have seen the breakthrough, and since then we are just rising. Higher highs followed by higher lows on the weekly time frame. Some sideways consolidation here on a pretty high level, around the $3,000 level, a little bit above that. And after leaving that one behind, we have seen only green candles up. And I was trading that, like you can see. On the daily time frame, you can see the daily uptrends are all still intact. We got a Fibonacci retracement level measured from the low to the high of the movement. We have seen the lowest point of this movement to the 0.382 Fibonacci retracement level, and then a triangle-like price structure that once got broken to the upper side and went long with a risk-reward ratio of 2.5 to 1. So making 2.5 times my risk if price hits my take profit. And we are pretty close that gold does me that favor. Yeah, I placed my take profit a little bit below the $4,000 mark because I think that's a psychological area where a lot of market participants are willing to sell maybe. So I placed it a little bit below that. Doesn't mean that we will not turn slightly before my take profit, and we have to wait a little bit longer till this take profit takes place. But yeah, pretty bullish, and yeah, we can also put my stop loss to my entry level because I'm not thinking that we will see this price level again for taking at least my take profit here. Yeah, that's it for gold. On the 4-hour time frame, there's nothing more to say than only higher highs and followed by higher lows. So absolutely intact uptrend. You could draw if you want to an uptrend line, but it's pretty steep. So yeah, if you're not already in a long position, you should probably wait for a good pullback before you get back in. Yeah, that's all I have for gold. Next, also very bullish, Bitcoin with new all-time highs. Bitcoin against the US dollar also at the weekly time frame looking nearly as beautiful as gold, printing higher highs and higher lows, so an intact uptrend. Only concern I had some weeks ago is this MACD divergence, where MACD was making lower highs while price was making higher highs, which normally means it's time for a corrective move, but like you can see in the S&P 500 index, it's not always the case. It's a statistical advantage that not always works perfectly. Yeah, we printed a new all-time high lately, but only slightly in Bitcoin. But I think that's a really positive sign. I moved now my stop loss level again to my entry level, so taking the trade risk free at the moment at $4,500. Open position. We drop down to the daily time frame. You can see the all-time high a little bit better. We had I moved my uptrend line to the new low of this uptrending movement, 200 moving average, supporting that complete movement right now. And yeah, we have seen a low, a lower high, a higher low, and a higher high. So moving from a downtrend to an uptrend. So I'm pretty confident, not absolutely sure, you can be never, but that this sideways consolidation here is over and that we are starting right now the next massive push to the upper side. For sure, there can be corrective moves before that, but over the next couple of weeks and months, I'm expecting that my take profit gets hit, of course. Yeah, on the 4 time frame, there's not really much more to say, to be honest. That was a clean, nice move to the upper side. Yeah, overbought on the short term, for sure. So maybe a setback is in the cards. But yeah, the daily is the more interesting time frame, and the weekly, hold on to your positions if you have one, but make decisions always by yourself. I'm pretty happy with that. So let's continue with single stocks, starting with AOS. AOS on the daily time frame I covered in previous episodes, so rewatch them if you like an explanation how I came to these setups. But the current setup at the moment works well, even if it's moving sideways, supported by the 200 moving average. I entered after getting, you see it better on the 4 time frame, above this neckline. I entered long, stop loss below the last low here, and risking 0.5% of my account balance for making 2.4 times my risk and staying with my take profit far below the prior all-time highs. And yeah, it should work out if it works out like the previous times. Price did similar price action. Next, Netflix. Netflix marked in yellow because the trade is over. Why is it over? I got stopped out. Can happen in trading. Don't wonder. I just closed while recording the gold position, so I made a nice profit of $5,370 in account balance. Proud of that one. And yeah, here you see my Netflix position running in stop loss, risking 0.5% of my account balance. So I lost $600 on that trade, but it was calculated. I was backtesting that one, and I will try it next time a pattern like this one builds out, because statistically I'm on the right side with that one. Yeah, I will inform you if another nice situation comes up in Netflix. Next, investor AB. Investor AB, the Swedish company, is finally making the move into my entry level. I'm in a long trade after seeing the 200 moving average getting crossed to the upper side and taking out the prior highs that have been resistant so far. Now this level gets support, stop loss below the last major low, and I'm riding that one up into new all-time high territory. My take profit would be 2 times my risk. So yeah, risking 0.5% for making roughly 1%, slightly below the Fibonacci extension level here for my take profit target. Let that one run. Next, Tesla. Tesla Inc. on the daily time frame. Here we have a winner. 2 times my risk. I was taking the take profit on Tuesday, the 2nd October 2025, slightly below the prior all-time high level, because that's often resistance. So I placed my take profit conservative below that one. We had this nice triangle formation, the breakout, the retest, the break of the retest to the upper side. Then I went long. Then Elon, after call, gave me the favor and bought by himself $1 billion worth of shares. And yeah, that worked pretty well out and pushed the price higher for me. Thanks, Elon. Jokes to the side. Yeah, was supported by the 200 moving average. Pretty obvious pattern. I think a lot of market participants have also seen in the market. Yeah, next time I see something interesting in Tesla, I will inform you as always. Next, Berkshire Hathaway. Berkshire Hathaway on the daily time frame, you can see we have been in an uptrend, and we had a nice corrective move all the way back down to this daily white solid uptrend line. Then we found the bottom, surpassed the prior high in this downtrend in combination with the 200 moving average, which went then from resistance to support. And then I entered the long position. You've seen a push to the upper side, retesting again the 200 moving average and the breakout level. And since then are moving a little bit sideways. As an additional confirmation, I had my MACD divergence here. Price was making lower lows while MACD was making higher lows. And yeah, I'm aiming again here also for 2-to-1 risk reward ratio, with the take profit slightly below the upper side of this price channel and the stop loss below the lowest point of the corrective movement, risking 0.5% to make 1%. Next, Snap-on. Snap-on Incorporated is also uptrending with nice pullbacks in between. We had a nice pullback. We got a resistance by the 200 moving average. Now we got support by the 200 moving average. We have seen a break above this white solid daily downtrend line. I entered in a long position after seeing the prior high here of this downtrend getting exceeded to the upper side. The moment in slight loss near the entry level. My stop loss is placed below this daily support zone and below the 200 moving average and some price structure here. I'm aiming here for a 2-to-1 risk reward ratio using my Fibonacci extension levels measured from the low to the high of the prior movement. And then you get, like talked a lot about, you got these extension levels you can use for target finding or discovery. Next, CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike Holdings, uptrending stock with volatile moves to the downside in between, but also to the upper side, which make it interesting for trading. We had a nice pullback to the 200 moving average and a daily support zone for price. I also used again the Fibonacci retracement tool measured from the low to the high of the last movement, We stopped at the 0.5 Fibonacci extension retracement level. From there on, we moved higher. I used that peak here to wait to confirm the breakout. If we see prices again above this high here, then I will get long. Stop loss below the low of the prior movement. If you go to the 4 time frame, you can see we had a wick all the way back down, so I place it below that conservative. And yeah, now I'm riding that one higher to the upper side for my take profit finding. I again use the Fibonacci extension level, 2-to-1 risk reward ratio at the moment in a nice profit. Next, Blackstone. Blackstone Inc. Stock looking great, trade not so great, but that can happen. So we had an intact uptrend, massive corrective moves in between, but then also excessive uptrend. We had a major downtrend. We found ourselves all the way back down to the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level, which is very important level for retracements after a huge move to the downside. From there on, we have seen rising prices. And yeah, we went also above this daily downtrend line, built out a flag pattern or an ABC pattern, and broke that also to the upper side. So I decided to get long after seeing a new all-time high, at least in this part of the movement. I went long at the moment in a massive loss, massive, yeah, not in portfolio terms. I'm risking only again 0.5% of my whole portfolio with that trade. Yeah, the 200 moving average was supporting the idea, but we are correcting at the moment. I let it stay like it is. Maybe we'll turn before my stop loss gets hit, but the likelihood of my stop loss getting hit is at the moment pretty high because we are pretty near. Yeah, maybe we'll turn, maybe we'll not. I will inform you next weekend or next weekly update how that went, or you can view it on TradingView by yourself and then you know it in advance. Next, Alibaba. Alibaba Group Holdings, yeah, working better than Blackstone on a weekly time frame here. We are aiming for the next major weekly support and resistance zone. On a daily time frame, you can see my trade. We had this bottom formation, then we have seen the break above the first weekly support and resistance zone. We had a nice pullback and the next attempt to get above that. I entered in a long position that worked well. I placed my stop loss below the 200 moving average and some price structure, and my take profit not with the Fibonacci extension level, because here I have price action in the past where I can orientate myself on for finding my take profit. So finding resistance and taking the take profit before reaching that resistance. So yeah, nice 2-to-1 risk reward ratio and nice profit. Straight move to the upper side. Wasn't expecting that. That's the possibility that we will see a pullback before reaching the take profit target. Next, a stock where I'm not at the moment in a trade is Linde PLC. Linde PLC, also a nice uptrending stock. We had unbroken a daily uptrend line, a sideways consolidation between these two support and resistance zones. And yeah, at the moment, the price gets supported by the 200 moving average. We had attempted a couple of times to get above this daily resistance zone here. Every time it failed so far. And the moment we get above them, I think momentum is on our side. I would take a long trade with the stop loss below the 200 moving average. Prior low here, that's still forming. Yeah, risk reward ratio is like so often 2-to-1 near the Fibonacci extension level because we are at a new all-time high territory. Next, Toyota. Toyota Motor Corporation is also uptrending. We had an all-time high, then a massive setback. Since then, sideways consolidation or bottom building, I would say. At the moment, supported by the 200 moving average. We went above this daily support and major resistance zone. We got above that, failed, but to get higher, to break the retest to the upper side. And we have seen the push falling down below, maybe getting some shorties and then directly stop loss. I'm willing to get in a long position if we see price above that, stop loss below the lowest point of this sideways consolidation here. Aiming for 2-to-1 risk reward ratio, staying with that far below the all-time high levels. Next, Applied Materials. Applied Materials Inc. Nice uptrending stock with huge corrections in between, but we find this pattern and this pattern looks pretty similar with the breakout, with the retests for the 200 moving average. And then we have seen rising prices. The same as here. We had a downtrend. We had a break of this downtrend to the upside. We had a corrective move to the downside, and we had a break to the upper side. I thought myself I will get in early with that one for better risk reward ratio. And I think I got with that one with 4-to-1 risk reward ratio. So one of my best trades so far in the single stock row here, because we are also already pretty far in profit. 3 times my risk at the moment, and I'm aiming for 4 times my risk near the all-time high and the second Fibonacci extension level. Yeah, still ongoing that trade, but a little bit late to join me if you wanted to do that next time. Next, ASML. Yeah, like with Applied Materials, it's also a little bit late to get in a trade with ASML. We have seen a similar pattern, massive corrective moves, break to the upper side, supported by the 200 moving average, and breaking this corrective move again higher and continuing the overall uptrend. We have seen here that as well. We had this white daily downward line. We have seen a push higher above the 200 moving average, a pullback, and then the break of the pullback to the upper side. That was the moment I went long. Stop loss pretty far away, to be honest, below the recent low here. Staying conservative and using the Fibonacci retracement and extension level again to find my take profit. So I got a 3-to-1 risk reward ratio, a little bit higher than usual, but lower than in Applied Materials, and I'm already a little bit over 1 hour in profit. Yeah, pretty steep that movement near the all-time highs. Correction is probably in front of the door, but I will not change anything. I will let it run till it hits my take profit. If we see a pullback and the pullback gets broken to the upper side, I will probably move my stop loss to my entry level and take the trade risk free. Next, the stock I never learned to pronounce, XYLM. XYLM Inc. also long-term uptrending, but since a couple of years we are moving inside this huge triangle formation, which is uptrending through this orange solid uptrend line, so printing higher lows, but we got stopped out every time at this weekly resistance zone here. But finally, price has made it to break above that one significantly, so I went long in this stock with my stop loss below this weekly now support zone, and yeah, far away enough from price because this flag pattern here was me too near the breakout zone, so a little bit too risky. I'm risking now 0.5% of my capital in that trade, using again the Fibonacci extension level for finding my take profit level. 2-to-1 risk reward far away and already in a slight profit, but still near the entry level, so you could join if you decide that for yourself. Next, Viper Energy. Viper Energy Inc. Yeah, we have seen some sideways movement. You can see it here on this weekly support and resistance zone. That was long time only resistance. Then we have seen a push higher and a pullback now at this support zone. This orange weekly uptrend line is supporting the idea, even if we are at the moment slightly below that, but that's still fine. And yeah, the 200 moving average is nearing the price from above. So if we see a push above that one, that would be bullish. And I think we are building out here a bottom formation. And once we break that to the upper side, I'm willing to give it a shot, get long in this stock, stop loss below the lowest point of this movement so far. Take profit, 2-to-1 risk reward ratio, aiming for the last all-time high territory. Next, MSCI India. MSCI India ETF. Yeah, also uptrending. Huge moves to upper sides, huge corrections, huge move to the upper side. A little bit smaller corrective move, but still uptrending. Yeah, the weekly uptrend is nearly still valid, slightly broken, but yeah. I'm assuming that it will go further We've seen a push, pullback, MACD divergence on the daily time frame, supported by the 200 moving average. We pushed above this ABC pattern to the upper side, taking out the midpoint here, this high, and there I went long, and directly price turn happens. Yeah, near my stop loss, massively in loss, but again only risking 0.5% of the account balance. And yeah, maybe we'll turn right here, build out here sideways consolidation at bottom, and continue higher, then I would be safe. Otherwise, the likelihood is huge that we will see also push lower and take me out of my trade here with a loss. Happens. And yeah, I will inform you probably next video how it was going. Next, MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy, or since he renamed it only strategy. Yeah, we are mainly focused here on Bitcoin, because if Bitcoin is going well, the chances are at least there that strategy is also going well. We have a new all-time high in Bitcoin. You can't see that on this stock. But yeah, we have a weekly uptrend. We have seen a break to the upper side, but now we're getting back in the zone. Slightly also above the 200 moving average, which is principally bullish. We have here a support and resistance zone, and I think if we get significantly enough above that one, I'm again willing to take my long position here. Stop loss below the lowest point of the movement. The downtrend line at the moment broken, and yeah, because the volatility in this stock is so high, and if this stock starts going, then it really starts going. I'm aiming for the Fibonacci extension level number 1, and yeah, aiming for 3-to-1 risk reward ratio, a little bit above that. And yeah, we will see high risk trade with this stock, but yeah, I'm also invested in Bitcoin, and that goes well, and with huger numbers. So that's the side bet, if you will. So next, BYD. BYD, the Chinese car manufacturer, is also uptrending, but we had a huge sideways consolidation. That one got broken massively to the upper side, leading to new all-time highs. Then we have seen the huge pullback to this now resistance turning support zone. And yeah, we have here a daily white solid downward line. It's starting to break to the upper side. MACD is also moving to the upper side, which is a bullish sign. And I think once the 200 moving average is surpassed to the upper side and the prior high here is taking out, then I can risk it to take a long position here. Stop loss below the lowest point of the movement, aiming for 2.5 risk reward ratio. Yeah, the take profit is chosen because of the Fibonacci retracement, or then extension levels measured from the low to the high of the movement. And yeah, you can see 0.5 Fibonacci level, setback level, yeah, is aligning perfectly with this weekly support zone. So it often works out, and I placed my stop loss slightly below the first extension level. Next, a cryptocurrency, Ethereum. Ethereum against the US dollar has made a slightly higher high than it did 2021. Since then, we are moving inside this flag pattern, ABC. See at the moment the lowest point of the movement. If we see prices again above point B, you can see we have this broken downward line. I will go long in this cryptocurrency with my stop loss placed below the lowest point of this ABC pattern, aiming for a 2-to-1 risk reward ratio, risking against 0.5% of my account balance. Next one is also cryptocurrency, Ripple. Yeah, Ripple sometimes even making huger moves than Ethereum and Bitcoin together. But yeah, we have seen a new all-time high, then a usual corrective move, supported by the 200 moving average and the prior all-time high. Then we have seen the broken daily downtrend line to the upper side, making a slightly higher high, then another ABC corrective move. We moved already above this downward line. I've seen a pullback, double low scenario, supported by the 200 moving average. And here some support zone. And if we see price taking out this corrective move to the upper side, I'm willing again to get long here. Stop loss below the 200 moving average and this minimal 4-hour support zone here, staying below this movement. I'm aiming also here for a 2-to-1 risk-reward ratio, working here with the Fibonacci extension level number 1, measured here from the low to the high of this movement. Next, BHP. BHP group moving up since 2016 again. We have here a weekly support and resistance zone from this long-term sideways movement. We got finally above that, now correcting after the all-time high double top here to the downside. We retested this weekly uptrend line, and now we are breaking this daily downtrend to the upper side, supported by the 200 moving average. If we see that pullback breaking to the upper side, I will get long, stop loss below this corrective move and the 200 moving average, aiming for a 2-to-1 risk reward ratio, slightly above the prior all-time highs. Next, GILD. GILD Science Inc. starting with the usual time frame, the weekly one. You can see we had here cup and handle formation. That one went pretty well if you would have traded that one. And here, in my view, we got another cup and handle formation. This being the cup, this being the handle. If we see the break above this prior all-time highs, like we will, then I'm expecting a huge move to the upper side. Let's drop one time frame lower to the daily time frame. Here you can see it inside the handle, even another cup and handle formation. That being the cup, that being the handle. Even if the perfect cup and handle would be that the handle would be lower than the highest point of the cup in the case here. But no matter that, I think if we see a new all-time high here, then it's time for getting long with the stop loss below this handle formation. Aiming for a 2-to-1 risk-reward ratio, aiming for take profit slightly below the second Fibonacci extension level. Then the next stock is EOAN SE. EOAN SE, since a couple of years in an uptrend. The last year we put into turbo, if you will. Why I'm taking that trade on this higher sideways consolidation level? The reason for that is on the 4-hour time frame. We can see here an head and shoulders formation with this 4-hour support resistance zone building the neckline, combination with the 200 moving average, and we have here an intact uptrend. We have seen the break, we have seen the retest, and I went long, slightly in profit right now. It's a lower time frame. The stop loss and the entry are not that far away from each other, so the risk is higher, so I'm risking only 0.25, so 1/4% of my account balance in that risk for making, what was it, 2-to-1 risk reward ratio again. Exactly, not spectacular, but a small trade. Next, Aflac Incorporated. Aflac Incorporated is a good going, like you can see, insurance company. We have seen on a huge price level and flag pattern here, marked by this white dotted downtrend lines, building a downtrend channel. That one got broken to the upper side, supported by the 200 moving average. I placed my stop loss below this 200 moving average, the prior low inside this channel, and after seeing a break, a retest, and a break of the retest to the other side, I went long in this stock, aiming again for a 2-to-1 risk reward ratio, and I'm using for price finding here the first Fibonacci extension level. Next, Berkeley Corporation. That stock has a beautiful price history, only one way, and that's up with pauses in between, 200 moving average supporting on a bigger time frame the whole thing. We have rising lows, and we stopped the rise every time we reach that weekly resistance zone. Now we have seen a push higher, the pullback and continuation, so I am in a long trade. Stop loss below the prior lowest point of the last movement, and I'm aiming also here for a 2-to-1 risk reward ratio, aiming here for the second Fibonacci extension level, measured from the low of the movement to the high of the prior last major movement. Next in the list we have Constellation Energy. Constellation Energy, not that long ago, since the IPO was on the stock market, we went pretty nice to the upper side since then. Now we have, you could say it's a head and a shoulders formation, you can say it's a cup and a handle formation. I don't care, it looks bullish for me if we get above this daily resistance zone, and we have done that. I went long, stop loss below the prior major low here, and yeah, I'm expecting a 2-to-1 risk reward ratio as a take profit, and yeah, let the thing develop. And next, Vertiv Holdings. Vertiv Holdings looking a little bit similar in price structure, but here I would say it's clear in head and shoulders pattern, with the neckline being this support or resistance zone, now turning support if price will retest that level. And yeah, we have seen a nice push higher, taking out the prior all-time highs. I went long, stop loss also here below the last major low, and I'm aiming also here for 2-to-1 risk reward ratio, and still in the early beginnings, so you could join this trade if you like to. Then we have the newcomer for this video. Everything else I covered also in prior episodes, so all the long trades you can see here, I announced them in advance normally. Here, the trade in Euro Stocks 50, I'm already in, haven't announced it earlier, happens sometimes if you only post once a week. Let's start with that one. Yeah, the Euro Stocks 50 index, the index with the 50 largest stocks in Europe. Nice uptrend. Orange weekly uptrend line still intact with, yeah, we let out that tariff massacre here, and if you ignore that one, it's still an uptrend supported by the 200 moving average. We had here a lot of sideways consolidation after the prior all-time high. We could draw in that daily resistance zone. Now we pushed above that, so it turns support. I went long after getting above the prior all-time high. Stop loss below the last significant low and the 200 moving average, aiming for a 2-to-1 risk reward ratio, and using for that again the Fibonacci extension levels measured from the low to the high of the prior major movement. That's all I have for this weekly update on financial markets. I hope you enjoyed it and got something out of it. If so, like, subscribe and comment, and till next time, bye bye.